Why do 99.9% of all species that ever lived go extinct? Could humans be next? Let's find out what might truly end life as we know it. Asteroids, supervolcanoes, runaway climate change. Science has real answers, not just wild guesses. Some threats are rare, others could be closer than we think. On For Science Salah Lotfy, we separate the facts from the fears. Ready to face the possibilities? Hit subscribe, and let's explore the future of life on Earth, together.
Welcome to For Science Salah Lotfy Channel, where global scientific research becomes clear and accessible.
هنا نحول الأبحاث العلمية العالمية إلى معرفة مبسطة، مترجمة لك بلغتك.
Ici, la science est expliquée et traduite pour tous.
Ciencia clara, accesible y disponible en varios idiomas.
Wissenschaft, verständlich und mehrsprachig für jeden.
قناة For Science Salah Lotfy Channel، العلم للجميع وبجميع اللغات. تابعنا لاكتشاف المزيد.
I want you to imagine a world where the air shimmers with heat, rivers run dry, and the familiar hum of daily life is replaced by an uneasy silence. This isn't the opening of a dystopian movie. This is the most realistic scenario scientists warn could reshape our planet: climate collapse. So what does it actually look like? It starts quietly, almost invisibly. The curve of global temperatures begins to rise, not in a gentle, predictable line, but in a steepening arc. Ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica, once stable for millennia, begin to crumble. The meltwater pours into our oceans, pushing sea levels higher, inch by inch, year after year. Suddenly, cities we know, New York, Alexandria, Jakarta, are fighting a losing battle against the sea. Our oceans, now warmer than ever, breed storms of devastating power. Heat waves become routine, stretching for days or even weeks, making it unsafe to step outside. Meanwhile, the living web that holds our world together starts to unravel. Insects vanish, coral reefs bleach and die. Forests, parched by drought, turn into kindling for wildfires. When ecosystems lose their balance, the collapse doesn't just touch one species, it pulls the whole food chain down with it. But when does this environmental pressure cross the line from a challenge to a true threat to humanity? Let's fast forward, 2050, 2100, 2300. Over the next 50 to 100 years, we're likely to face food shortages, water scarcity, mass migrations, and extreme heat waves that put millions at risk. Civilization gets harder, much harder, but we muddle through. Now, leap 2 or even 5 centuries into the future. Cities along the coasts disappear beneath the waves. Entire regions, once fertile, become uninhabitable. Agriculture collapses in places we rely on. These are not wild sci-fi projections. They're grounded in what current scientific models suggest could happen if warming continues unchecked. Still, here's the part most people miss. Even in the most severe scenarios, climate collapse threatens human civilization, not every living thing. Life is unbelievably tough. It's survived asteroid strikes, supervolcanoes, global ice ages, and mass extinctions. Why? Because it adapts. Microorganisms, bacteria, extremophiles, can survive in boiling heat, freezing cold, crushing pressure, or total darkness. Even if humanity is pushed to the brink, countless forms of life would continue, evolving in ways we can barely imagine. So, is total extinction from climate collapse possible? Almost certainly not. The real risk isn't the end of all life, it's the end of our way of life. Let's paint a quick picture of that future. Egypt, 2150. It's summer. The thermometer reads 55 degrees Celsius. The streets are deserted. Step outside for 5 minutes and heat stroke is a real threat. The power grid flickers, then fails. Air conditioners fail. Hospitals scramble to keep patients alive. Out past the city, the Mediterranean has advanced inland, swallowing neighborhoods that once bustled with life. Families pack what little they can carry, faces masked and soaked in water to cool the air they breathe. This isn't a prophecy. It's just one scientifically plausible future if we let warming spiral out of control. So, climate collapse isn't a sudden apocalypse. It's a slow, relentless wave. It challenges everything we know, everything we've built, and everything we hope for. It shakes societies, destroys ecosystems, redraws coastlines, but it does not erase life from Earth. Next up, let's take a look at another existential threat, one that strikes not with heat and drought, but with viral speed, a global, unstoppable pandemic. Stay curious and stay with me. Let's dig into a scenario that feels pulled from science fiction, but is rooted in real possibility. What happens if the world faces a super pandemic? First off, what exactly is a super pathogen? It's not a doomsday virus with magical powers. It's a real biological threat that checks some truly dangerous boxes. Number 1. It spreads like wildfire. I'm talking about transmission so fast, it leaps ahead of containment and makes contact tracing basically useless. Number 2. It mutates with every infection. Imagine a virus that evolves every time it finds a new host, dodging treatments, outsmarting vaccines, and learning new ways to jump from person to person. And number 3, it hides. For days, or even weeks, it lives inside people with zero symptoms. That means travelers, co-workers, and even friends become invisible carriers, spreading the infection before anyone realizes what's happening. Put those traits together and you have a nightmare scenario for our connected, globalized world. Borders, meaningless, airports, vulnerable points. But here's where things get interesting. Why wouldn't this be the end of humanity? It all comes down to genetic diversity. Humans aren't clones. Some of us have rare genetic quirks that make us naturally resistant or even immune to certain viruses. It's not common, but it's enough to keep a spark of humanity alive. Plus, basic survival biology kicks in. Even in the worst outbreaks, a fraction of people survive because their immune systems react differently. And then, there's good old geography. Remote islands, mountain villages, deep desert communities. These places can be completely cut off from global spread. They survive simply by being hard to reach. So, could a super pandemic devastate civilization? Absolutely. Could it wipe us out? Science says, almost certainly not. Picture this. The year is 2080. A new airborne virus emerges in a crowded megacity. Within months, the world reacts. Borders slam shut, flights ground, hospitals overflow, healthcare collapses, trade freezes, power grids flicker and cities darken. But scattered across the planet, small pockets of survivors persist. Families with genetic resistance, communities that isolated early, outposts far from trade routes. They rebuild, slowly. Society transforms, adapting to a changed world. It's not the end, it's a new beginning. So, while a super pandemic could change everything, it wouldn't be the final chapter. Life is more resilient and more unpredictable than any apocalypse movie. Next up, I'll dive into a threat even more sudden and violent, a cosmic impact that could strike without warning. Hit subscribe so you never miss these deep dives into the science shaping our future. Imagine total silence. The night sky, calm and unbroken, when suddenly, a streak of light tears across the darkness. I've talked about slow burn threats like climate change and invisible menaces like pandemics. But tonight, let's face something merciless. The impact of a giant asteroid. Before I launch us into the unknown, don't forget to subscribe to Science Salah Lotfy Channel, so you never miss these cosmic journeys. So what does an extinction-level asteroid actually look like? We're not talking about a pebble. I mean a monster 10 to 15 kilometers across, a city-sized boulder hurtling toward Earth. The energy on impact? Think billions of nuclear bombs all at once. The whole planet becomes ground zero. But what really happens, moment by moment? First, thermal radiation slams into the Earth. The heat alone ignites forests, melts metal, and triggers continent-wide wildfires within minutes. Then comes the shockwave, a planet-wide earthquake and explosion that flattens everything for thousands of kilometers. And that's just the beginning. The sky fills with dust and ash, blocking sunlight for months, sometimes years. No sun means no photosynthesis. Crops die, food chains collapse, and temperatures drop. What follows is a mass extinction, fast, brutal, and global. Frozen landscapes, starving animals, empty cities. The world changes in a single catastrophic heartbeat. But here's the good news. Science says this is rare. Extinction-level impacts happen only once every 100 million years or so. And these days, astronomers and space agencies are watching the sky, tracking, cataloging, and monitoring the biggest threats. Surprises are possible, but a civilization-ending asteroid? Very, very unlikely. Still, try to picture it. A normal morning. The world wakes up. Suddenly, a fireball brighter than the sun appears, moving quietly across the sky. For a moment, everyone stares. Then, flash, roar, silence. This is the reality. Sudden, violent, and dividing history into a before and an after. But remember, while devastating, this is one of the rarest threats we face. Understanding it, calmly and scientifically, helps us prepare for the unexpected. And we're just getting started. Next time, I'll dive into cosmic radiation and solar events, threats stranger than fiction. Stick around, and make sure to subscribe to For Science Salah Lotfy Channel for more deep dives into the universe. There's a threat hiding right beneath our feet, not an asteroid from space, nor a creeping pandemic. This one is homegrown, ancient, and impossibly powerful. It's called a supervolcano, and if it erupted tomorrow, well, buckle up. Before I dive into this world-ending scenario, don't forget to hit subscribe to For Science Salah Lotfy Channel. If you're a science fan, you're in the right place. So, what exactly is a supervolcano? Most volcanoes look like classic cones, spewing lava and ash skyward. But supervolcanoes? They don't play by the rules. These monstrous systems have magma chambers the size of entire cities, buried deep underground, waiting. There are 3 big names you should know: Yellowstone in the US, Toba in Indonesia, and Campi Flegrei in Italy. Each of these has erupted in the past, changing the world's climate for years at a time. When a supervolcano blows, it doesn't leave a neat mountain behind. It leaves a caldera, a crater so huge the land itself sinks. But what actually happens if one erupts tomorrow? Picture this. Without warning, a supervolcano explodes, launching an ash plume straight into the stratosphere. Within days, that ash spreads around the world, blocking sunlight. The sky darkens, and global temperatures start to fall, fast. We call this a volcanic winter. Suddenly the seasons shift. Rain patterns collapse, fields wither, crops die, food production crashes, supermarkets empty out. Countries scramble to trade, but the networks fail. In just weeks, famine and chaos set in. Governments are overwhelmed. Humanity faces a crisis like no other. Still, here's a crucial question. Could a supervolcano wipe out all life? Science says, absolutely not. The devastation would be enormous, yes, but life is stubborn. Ocean currents keep moving. Microorganisms, the tiny titans of our planet, survive in even the harshest conditions. Some regions, distant from the ashfall, might stay warm enough for people to endure. Humans are adaptable. We migrate, innovate, and dig in. Civilizations have fallen before, but life has always found a way to rise again. Let's jump into a dramatic glimpse. Imagine Yellowstone on a calm morning. Tourists snap photos by hissing geysers. The ground swells just a few centimeters. Bison shuffle nervously. Suddenly, seismic alarms blare. Then, a thunderous roar. Ash rockets 30 kilometers into the sky, turning day into night. Lightning crackles through the ash cloud. Hundreds of kilometers away, cities fall silent as gray dust rains down, choking engines and blocking out the sun. The world plunges into confusion. Snow falls in deserts, crops freeze. But as always, humanity endures, scarred but alive. Supervolcanoes are rare. Their power is terrifying, but they can't stop life on Earth. Planet Earth has seen them before and survived every time. And if you want to explore more mind-bending science, hit subscribe to For Science Salah Lotfy Channel. Up next, we'll go even bigger. Cosmic storms and radiation. Threats from beyond our planet that could rewrite our future. Stay curious. Stay safe. When we picture global disaster, we imagine asteroids, supervolcanoes, loud, unmistakable events. But the most dangerous catastrophe is unfolding quietly: environmental collapse. It's not a sudden explosion, but a slow, silent unraveling. Species vanish, soils thin, oceans warm, each change barely noticed. This isn't nature's wrath, but the result of our habits, accumulating over decades. We miss the subtle signs: quieter birds, murkier rivers, hotter summers. The danger is its gradual pace, lulling us into complacency. We assume the world will always be as it is, but the losses are adding up. Like passengers on a ship, we don't see the hull eroding beneath us until it's too late. Environmental collapse isn't a single event, it's a domino effect. Imagine Earth as a complex machine, every living thing a vital part. Remove too many pieces and the system falters. A forest cleared here, a species lost there. Each loss weakens the whole. Like a game of Jenga, the tower stands until one more block is pulled, and everything crashes down. Collapse is when small, cumulative losses trigger rapid, system-wide failure. Climate destabilizes, food webs break, water and soil vanish. The world we know disappears, replaced by something harsher and less forgiving. Our civilization rests on three pillars: healthy soil, stable oceans, and abundant insects. Soil is alive, feeding our crops, but intensive farming and chemicals are turning it to dust. Oceans regulate climate and produce oxygen, but warming and acidification threaten their balance. Insects pollinate our food and recycle nutrients, yet their numbers are plummeting. These systems are interconnected. When one fails, the rest follow. This isn't a distant threat. It's the unraveling of the web of life that sustains us. Environmental collapse isn't new. History is full of civilizations, like Easter Island and the Maya, brought down by resource overuse. They cut forests, depleted soils, and their societies crumbled. The difference now is scale. Our actions threaten the entire planet. History warns us, overexploiting nature leads to collapse. We're repeating their mistakes, but on a global stage. Total extinction is unlikely. Life is resilient. Microorganisms have survived every catastrophe, from asteroid impacts to ice ages. Even if complex life vanishes, microbes will endure, and evolution will begin anew. Earth will recover, but on a timescale far beyond human existence. The world as we know it, our species, our fellow creatures, could disappear, leaving only a thin layer in the fossil record. Life goes on, but not necessarily with us. This isn't inevitable. We have knowledge and tools to change course. Clean energy, regenerative farming, conservation. The challenge is collective will. Governments, industries, and individuals must act. Every choice matters. What we eat, buy, and use shapes the future. We can restore balance and protect our only home, or risk losing it all. The choice is ours, before the silence becomes permanent. When I look up at the night sky, I see beauty, but also danger hidden in the darkness. Today, I'm diving into two of the wildest cosmic catastrophes that, while unlikely, could end life on Earth. Let's start with the most dramatic gamma-ray bursts. Imagine a flash of energy brighter than 1 billion suns, traveling across galaxies. If a gamma-ray burst ever hit Earth, straight on, it could strip away our ozone layer in seconds, making the surface deadly to life. Thankfully, these events are rare, and the universe is huge. The chances of one targeting us are so small, you could win the cosmic lottery first. Still, it's a wild reminder of how fragile our home really is. Now, picture our sun, calm and steady, today. But fast forward 5 billion years, and the story changes. The sun will swell into a red giant, boiling away our oceans and turning Earth into a lifeless rock. This isn't a wild card, it's written in the physics of stars. But before you worry, remember, 5 billion years is more time than humanity has even existed. So why talk about these cosmic disasters? Because thinking about them stretches our imagination and shows us how much we still have to learn about our universe. If you love exploring the extremes of science and want to keep asking big questions, hit that subscribe button for Science Salah Lotfy Channel. What does science actually say about the end of life on Earth? When we ask whether life on Earth could truly disappear forever, science gives us an interesting, and surprisingly hopeful, answer. Yes, a complete extinction of all life is theoretically possible, but it requires an event so rare, so extreme, and so far outside ordinary natural cycles that it sits in the category of cosmic exceptions, not everyday risks. Most of the threats we discussed, climate collapse, pandemics, supervolcanoes, even asteroid strikes, they target human civilization first, not the planet's entire biosphere. Humanity may suffer, ecosystems may break down, but life itself is incredibly resilient. Across billions of years, Earth has survived ice ages, firestorms, mass extinctions, radiation bursts, and asteroid impacts. And life always found a way back. From microbes deep underground to organisms thriving in boiling vents, The living world is much harder to erase than it looks. So the scientific conclusion is clear. The end of human civilization is far more likely than the end of all life. To wipe out every living cell on Earth, you need an extremely rare cosmic or environmental event, the kind that happens over geological timescales, not human ones. And that makes our mission even more meaningful, protecting our world now, so that humanity remains part of Earth's long story of survival. If you're enjoying this scientific journey, don't forget to subscribe to Science Salah Lotfy Channel and stay with us for the next chapter. Before we close, make sure to subscribe to Science Salah Lotfy Channel to follow our journey into the science shaping our world and our future. Science isn't here to scare us. It's here to help us understand risks, to see the challenges clearly, and to act before it's too late. The future of our planet isn't written in stone. It isn't a predestined ending. It is the result of our choices, how we use knowledge, technology, and our collective responsibility. So here's the question to leave you with. Are we the generation that saves the planet, or the generation that writes the final chapter in Earth's story? The answer depends on us, on our decisions, on our action, today. Science guides us. The choice is ours.